And I think you did mention freedom of information. You're prepared to ensure that there's Freedom of Information Act.
Correct. And
that's vital.
That deepens our democracy. And this is one of the issues we have in the country.
Yes.
That we do have a problem of access to information by the citizenry to allow them to come to their own conclusions. You look at the restriction by the government in terms of the frequencies given to the different television stations. This
television station should expand beyond where they're now restricted to. That should be part and parcel of movement of information, because you can't restrict information to one area. So you have a dominance of one station owned by the state that controls all the flow throughout the country, like the radio station.
Well, unless you cannot say you are wedded to a deepening of the democracy in the country, and we restrict the frequencies, we restrict the radio stations, etc. Because at the end of the day, the rate of which technology is going, you will not be able to control it. And you're fooling yourself in thinking that I am able to control a group of people based on what information they can access. So, time, but we can move this process faster and the developmental process, because you look at what has happened in Kerala, for example. Just by increasing the internet penetration, the farmers have been able to triple their production.
Production is out. And I've seen a program also in Andhra this morning, whereby the villages start a radio station of their own.
Yes. UNESCO is one organization that has been promoting these community radio stations. And we should come into the 21st century and not be beholden to these old ways of the 20th century. And this is an issue which I seriously have with this government.
Finally, we got to wrap up. I'm sorry the time has gone so fast. I would like to continue, but I think we're going to have to do some more talking with you before in the next interview, in the sense that there's a lot more to talk about where we go from here onwards. Because, yes, we need a vibrant opposition, we need a vibrant party in power, but that doesn't mean they should not work together. Because in this world we're living in, a small world, we can't see ourselves as being know all, see all, do all. It's far from that. We all have knowledge that we could add to help people to help themselves in one way or another. And societies could only grow dependent on the quality of the people and how well they do things for the benefit not only of themselves. That could be a selfish nature, but for the country and future generations. Because if we're going to move forward into the future, we've got to think of the future. We've got to think what we do now, so as to we lift the standards up at all levels. Go back to where we were, I would say 40 years, 50 years, when we had the best school system in the world. When our boys and girls left here, they always excelled wherever they went at university. And those that came back, were on top of the world. But most, I'm afraid, yes, continue to leave. And I know in my sphere is that we train people continuously, and out they go, and you've got to continue to do this. We're bringing them in. If they have a graduate, you even send them to university. Then after that, they get some experience, out they go. And this is a continuous process. So we have to do things that will ensure growth and development occurs, so the economy grows and there'll be a place in the sun for everyone.
And you have to have a government that is going to consult with all sectors of society, but also ensure that they have a responsibility to inform the citizenry. This back and forth between the president and the leader of the opposition. Once they would have had a meeting on an issue, the two of them should speak to the population about what the conclusions of that meeting were. And therefore there is no question as to what the president is saying and what the opposition leader is saying. You need to see the citizenry as you are the servants of the citizenry, and therefore you are reporting to your masters.
But is that so? This has never been so since we became independence. It seems that the politicians have taken over the role, whereby the citizens are the servants of the politicians, whereas it should have been the opposite. And I love the way I could see that our politicians are beholden to the people, not the people to them.
Right.
And therefore, this whole thing of beholden to the politicians mean you want favors. If you want favors, you only have to go to the politicians. You don't run anything like that, sir.
No, it's an exploitation, and in a country that is poor, you then begin the issue of favors become even more prominent, because you then began to dole out the favors, and then you are beholden unto this person. So we've got to see our people as a valued resource, but see our relationship as politicians to them in terms of they are the masters of our destiny, and we are the servants. We are in this. That's why politics is a wonderful science. But because of these pathological practices, people then shy away from politics. But I would really like to encourage as many young people to become involved. But we need to create a different environment where they understand that there is fairness, they have confidence in the system.
And there's social justice for all.
And there's justice for all.
Well, I'm afraid we've got to conclude. We've gone over the limit. Ronald has been drawing my attention now for some time. So thank you very much, sir.
No, it's a pleasure.
So short notice that we were able to meet and have this little chat. And over television too, so people will get to know Dr. Van Mesjar's all over again. Who is he, what he stands for, and his years overseas, has he been transformed into a personality that people could trust, because the whole essence of politics is trust.
That's right. But I want to thank you, Yesu, and
pleasure.
I look forward to working with you and others in the private sector and the chamber, and to see how we collectively can move the country forward.
Yes. Thank you very much again.